I mean, okay, I'm going to start with, nowadays it is so impossible to figure out ratings because there's so many different ways. And then you get the streaming, and then maybe something has been out for a while and people find out about it and suddenly goes from not known at all to a huge hit. So I think kind of what Andy is saying is right. There are no more apples to apples. It's almost like let's throw everything against the wall and see what sticks. Because when was the last time you watched something in real time and with commercials?
Like, I think maybe it seems like decades.
Yeah.
I don't even have a TV. I don't want a TV. I watch everything on my computer. People that come to one of my friends came, speaking of my New York house, someone came over the other day, my friend, for the first time, and she was like, "Where's your TV?" I like the third person to come over to ask me where my TV is. I'm like, that's the strangest thing to notice. I don't have one. I don't want one.
Okay,
there you go.
I love my TV, and you can always mirror stuff, and there's something about the picture quality and the sound, and I don't like watching things on my iPad.
That's a lot of people say that. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we digress.
We digress.
Okay, you're in New York, and who is the most talked about guy in New York? Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
They found letters in the jail cell that he wrote legal on them, but then they actually weren't attorney-client privilege. And it was about, now tell me if I'm wrong, trying to bribe the victims' families and find dirt on the victims. So he was writing these note to self, to talk to his lawyer about these things.
Yeah, that's how I took this too. And they were thrown out of court. I guess they were trying to get them to be protected or somehow to be like attorney-client privilege. And the judge was like, I want no part of this. Like, why you're writing the word legal on top of these and writing yourself these notes? I mean, it's that hard to remember this. It's kind of a basic thing.
Or at least write it in code. So it doesn't make sense to anyone but you. Like, I mean, like him or hate him, and what he has done is just like nightmarish. He's not stupid. And this, to me, is flat out stupid.
Right. And I think the bigger thing is like, it just shows like he's not rolled over. Like he is just, if you're accused of all sorts of things, now, shouldn't you just be on your best behavior? I mean, I understand you're like fighting for your life, so to speak, but I mean, I think that's the thing too. It's like you're still scheming and plotting and just doesn't seem like anything has changed. I mean, I know he's only been in there.
But also one of the reasons they denied bail, the story was because they were worried that he was going to do this.
Yeah.
So I cannot, there is a disconnect here that does not make sense to me.
And bail was just denied again. I don't know how recently, like a week or probably, but bail was denied again. So yeah, I mean, his family is, sending a unified message that they're standing by him, but I don't really know where this goes. I don't really see any way that this is going to end. Like, I mean, I don't know. At this point, it's just think of a new strategy.
I don't know. I'm not a legal mind, but I think if he was my client, I would say stop writing shit down and shut up. But that's just me. Sometimes you look at people and go, silence is your friend.
And you have to wonder, like, are the lawyers just like, hey, we have a new cash cow here. Let's just keep milking it. Like, I would just be like, look, it's over. We have to start thinking of like mitigating all the damage and time that you're going to do because we have to give in. Yeah. Wave the white flag at this point.
Yeah, get the best deal you can.
Yeah.
So big memoir just dropped. Cher. And she's calling it part 1. But she is revealing a lot of interesting personal things. Starting with, you would always assume that she always left all the men she was with. Like she was the one that broke all of their hearts. It turns out there was one that left her and she was very upset. Val Kilmer.
Yeah, I can't remember like when she dated him in relationship to all the others, like Gene Simmons and Greg Allman.
Well, one of the things she talks about was he was so much younger than her. So it had to be, I think she said he was in his 30s, early 30s when they dated. And he's in his late 50s now. So,
right.
But I thought that was, you wouldn't expect that name to come up again.
Out of all the guys, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one that got away. Yeah, that was. I mean, this book is, I mean, she reveals like at one point, Sonny really thought he was serious about throwing her off a balcony. She talks about how Sonny took all the money. I mean, it's, this
But
is like.
that stuff we kind of knew, not the throwing off the balcony part, but, you knew that she did not get an equitable portion of the business when they split.
Yes.
But she's very revealing. She does not pull punches. She also talks about, again, this is supposed to only be part one, that in all the movies she made, there were 2 directors she despised. One of them was Peter Bogdanovich, who directed her in Mask, which was kind of like a huge breakthrough performance after her first sort of smaller movie roles.
Yeah.
But he's notorious. Like, people either love him or hate him. This is not like groundbreaking. But the next one I found fascinating, Frank Oz, who originally directed her in Mermaids. But Frank Oz is the guy from the Muppets.
She won't even say his name. She'll say that other guy from the Muppets was horrible. That's how she's just won't even say his name.
Which is crazy. Frank Oz, But it was interesting to me, or is interesting to me, that the names she's revealing, I mean, I didn't think Peter Bogdanovich was a shocker, but the other people she's talking about in the book are really like you never would have guessed.
Yeah, I didn't know it was Frank Oz. I mean, and she got him fired. She said it was him or me.
Yeah. I mean, and she's worked with some tough people.
Right. And then I love the story she told about Meryl Streep. I don't know if you saw this part where she said Meryl Streep gave her advice on Silkwood. Like, if a director wants it done a certain way, just say yes, 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 that's great. And then just do it your way. She's like, half the time they won't even notice. Oh, yeah. So there's advice from Meryl Streep. I mean,
gotta love that. So
good person to get advice from, right?
Yeah, you think?
I mean,
but they always talk about that. Do it how you want it. And, if you have to do it their way, and then do it your way. And if your way is better, that is the one that will make the movie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they don't even know the difference, like, once they kind of give you. But we could have had Mermaids without Cher. That's all I'm thinking about.
I barely remember Mermaids.
Christina Ricci.
Christina Ricci was in it. And was Winona Ryder in it too?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a major cast.
It's a good one. She did a song for it. It's a good one.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. Because let's pivot to one of my favorite topics, the Kelces.
Mm-hmm.
So